A large area near Rapid City Regional Airport may be getting voluntarily annexed in the future, and a move the city of Rapid City says will help guide growth to town. Our Brian Savage spoke to the city's Planning Projects Division manager to understand the benefits the city says the annexation could bring.
Rapid City staff is interested in voluntarily annexing an area near the airport as they believe it would bring a lot of benefits to town.
This is a primary gateway into Rapid City. It's one of, the first areas that folks see when they come to visit. By having this area within city limits, it'll be an opportunity for the city to guide growth in a way that welcomes new visitors.
City staff have been working with property owners to secure a voluntary annexation of approximately 1,250 acres located between Radar Hill Road and Eden Drive.
This would be the 6th largest annexation that would have been taking place in the city's history.
CAPTCHA says the annexation will allow the city to leverage investments made to the airport recently and provide better protection to an essential underlying water main in the area. This would be a voluntary annexation as the 3 property owners submitted a request to be annexed into city limits.
When annexed into city limits, there are additional development opportunities that come along with our future land use designations.
Property owners would also be able to access city garbage services and be covered by the Rapid City Fire and Police departments. The undeveloped land is currently zoned as agriculture in Pennington County. CAPTCHA says there are currently no proposed development requests for the property.
However, in the future, if and when that property does develop, it would be developing in alignment with our future land use designation in this area, which is currently low-density residential.
Wednesday, the city's Legal and Finance Committee will consider the 3 associated annexation agreements. If the measure ultimately makes it to the preliminary and final reviews held by City Council on September 2nd and the 15th and is approved, then CAPTCHA says the land would be incorporated into Rapid City limits by October. In Rapid Valley, Brian Savage, Coder Territory News.